In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn a fraction of this 20-pound bill into $10,000 using 3 simple strategies with social media marketing agency. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jaime and I'm the proud owner of a social media marketing agency helping e-commerce clients become market leaders online. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through 3 strategies that you can take and implement to turn less than 20 bucks. This is actually 20 pounds, but it applies for any currency, and turn it into $10,000. And these are the same strategies that I use to start my social media marketing agency with less than 20 bucks and completely blow it past the $10,000 mark. So really excited for this video. I think it's going to be of a ton of value to those of you who are thinking of getting started with social media marketing agency, or maybe wanting to make some money online, but you just don't have the capital or the resources to put into business models out there like e-commerce, like Amazon FBA, like trading, that require a big investment. And so this is going to be of a ton of value to a lot of you. And without further ado, for the first point, I'm going to be hopping on my computer and showing you what we actually need, the investment that we actually need to make to start our social media marketing agency. And I actually think it's going to come as a surprise to a lot of you. So very excited for this, and let's get right into it. So guys, here we are inside my computer, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through the actual investment to get started with your social media marketing agency, to get up and running and potentially even getting results with what I'm about to show you. And you'll be just insanely surprised by the tiny investment, especially in comparison to a lot of the financial vehicles out there. I'm talking, dropshipping, Amazon FBA, trading, all that stuff. As I mentioned earlier, I've got nothing against them. But if you just compare the initial investment that a social media marketing agency requires to those business models, it's quite clear to see why there's so much upside to social media marketing agencies. So number one, I'm going to show you the actual investment. Number two is we're going to be picking your service, and I'm actually going to give you an example and a personal recommendation when it comes to picking your in-demand online service. And the final thing is we're going to be talking about the most important thing, which is selling your service. How are you going to get in front of dream potential clients and actually sell them to your services and get paid for delivering that service? So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, little note before I dive straight into the actual investment, we have to remember that social media marketing agency is a service-based business model. And what that means is that we are selling a service. We are selling an expertise, right? So there's no cost of goods sold. And that's really the biggest bliss of a social media marketing agency. And that is why I truly believe that is just the best business to get started with, simply because there's no cost attached to buying a product that then you have to sell and distribute, right? So we're just selling our expertise and we're charging a pretty good fee for it. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to set up the vanity side of the agency. And the reason why I call it that is because this stuff is not really going to grow your agency, but at the same time, having this stuff on point and just having that premium professional look is going to set you apart from a lot of agency owners who are just driving straight into selling their service without having given much thought to the branding and how to actually present themselves and what the value offering of their agency is. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up our website. Now, there's a ton of different websites that you can use. You can use Squarespace, Webflow, Wix. I personally quite like Wix. I think aesthetically is pretty good. And it's quite easy to edit, even for a complete beginner. And that's one of the things that I want you guys to keep in mind, is that you shouldn't be spending 1 month setting up your website. That is just a massive waste of time. And that's not really how you're going to move the needle forward and get results with your agency. So yeah, getting back to Wix, we're probably going to pick this right here. We're probably going to pick this combo right here, which is $8.50 a month. And that is euros, by the way. So it's just a tiny bit more in dollars, probably around $9.50 or something like that. But that is pretty much all you need when it comes to Wix. You could claim this one, but don't really recommend it. So I would just go for this one. And what we're going to do next is we are going to also set up your G Suite. Now, once that is done, the next thing you're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up G Suite, Google Suite. And the reason why G Suite is great is because if you didn't have G Suite, you'd have to have a host of different softwares and platforms that you would have to use on a daily basis for your agency. You probably have to have Typeform for forms. You probably have to have Excel for Google Sheets, Word for Google Docs, PowerPoint for Google Slides. You'd have to have maybe Dropbox for Google Drive. You would have to have all this host of services and softwares. Whereas with G Suite, you literally pay one fee. And quite frankly, another reason why I love it is because it reduces a lot of complexity. Instead of having different softwares for different things and just everything scattered, you have everything under your G Suite. Not only that, but with G Suite, the main thing really here, especially when you start out, is you can have a business email. And that's going to make other business owners take you more seriously when you reach out to them, which I'll talk about in just a second. So with G Suite, you can just claim this one right here, the basic. You don't need all this stuff. This is what most softwares do. They basically give you 3 prices. This one they'll make Pretty expensive compared to this, more than double. We can see it with Wix as well. And then the one that you actually need is probably this one. So I would just go with this one as the one that I currently have. And if you guys actually want a free trial, I would leave a link down below where you can claim one. It will be the first link in the description. But yeah, that is G Suite. That is G Suite, and I would recommend you guys pick up the basics. So right now we've got €850 plus $6 when it comes to the softwares. And that, my friends, after some very quick calculations, comes out to $14.33. And that is pretty much all you need to set up your agency. Obviously, there's no doubt that as you scale, as you start signing clients, you're actually going to bring on many more softwares. In fact, I would actually tell you that I'm spending around $600 to even $750 a month on softwares. Got some for my personal brand, but also for my agency, and it's usually the highest cost when it comes to building your agency as you scale, right? And that's really the beauty of an agency, the fact that you can just bring on more stuff and increase your operating expenses as you start signing clients and you've got that income coming in. But until you sign clients, your expenses are so low that you can just operate for as long as you want, pretty much, right? Until you sign your first client. And that is honestly massive, right? The fact that you don't have this massive sunk cost, right from the start. So that's honestly great. And that is that for the investment of setting up your social media marketing agency. The second thing we're going to do now is we're going to pick your service. And for this, I recommend you guys have two things in mind. Number one, it has to be in demand. And number two, it has to be online. The reason why we want it to be online is simply because then we have time, location freedom. Sure, you could pick something like content creation, which is in demand for sure, right? People want to build brands online, and for that they need amazing content. But shooting content requires a physical touch, right? It requires that physical component. And so that would not qualify as an online service, and that would not allow you to have the location freedom. For the vast majority of the clients I've signed throughout my agency journey, I actually have not met them in person. And I love my clients. I would have no problem meeting them in person and having a nice drink or a nice coffee, whatever it is. But that's really the beauty of an agency, the fact that I can be anywhere in the world and we could still be getting our clients killer results. The final thing that you want to keep in mind as well is that you want this service to generate them a very tangible amount of money. You want this service to be profit driven, to be revenue driven, a service that's actually going to make them more money, where they're going to invest a certain amount of money and more money is going to come out at the end, right? And how do we actually do that? With the power of online advertising, by running ads either on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram is the same thing as Facebook, TikTok, SEO, Google Ads, etc., etc. These are tools and services where you put a certain amount in and you are looking to get a return on investment out of that, okay? Now, if that does not make sense quite yet, I'm going to show you an example of what that would look like, right? So this is an example of a Facebook Ads Manager. It's not my Facebook Ads Manager. For the confidentiality of my clients, we could never do that, but I just want to show you what it would look like, right? So on the Ads Manager, when we hop on and we've actually arranged our columns in a way where we can see this stuff, we're going to be able to see amount spent, which is actually cut out. It's not on this screenshot. Then we're going to be able to see the website purchase conversion value. Okay, so in this case, it's 40,000, as we can see here, and also the return on ad spend. What that means. So we know for a fact that they spent less than 10K. Obviously, I'm not going to do the full calculation right now, but if they got a 4.78 return on investment and they made 40K, we can obviously assume that. And so yeah, you guys can clearly see how much we've spent, how much they've made back, and what that means in terms of a return on investment, which is massive for the client. The fact that they can actually see where their dollars are being spent and how much we're making for them. And that gives you a ton of power, because if you can clearly say, hey, I'm making you this much, and that is why I'm charging you this, number one, your value is undeniable, right? Especially if you're making them incredible returns on investment like these guys are. And number two, it's going to be very hard for them to cut something that's actually making them money. They would have to be not a very smart business owner to do that. So that is what I want you guys to keep in mind when picking your service. I recommend Facebook ads, honestly, especially if you're doing e-commerce and you're helping e-commerce brands scale online. That's really where you're going to see the most underpriced attention and where you're going to see the highest return on your investment. So that's really the second thing, picking your service. The final thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be selling our service. The first thing, especially if you're going down the e-commerce route, which is the route that I recommend, really you can take two routes, right? The local business, which is a very good option, especially in the current social landscape, where it's not very clear when local businesses are actually going to be opening. And the second route is the e-commerce route. Pretty much all those brands that sell stuff online. And that is actually a very high percentage of brands. However, within e-commerce, you need to find a sub niche. And this could stem from something that actually makes you very passionate. If you're really into fitness, then your sub niche could really be fitness brands, right? And within a sub niche, there's a bunch of different categories. For example, if you do fitness, you could do supplements, you could do home gym equipment, etc., etc. Once you've done that, you're going to pick your outreach methods. Boring. I don't want to bore you guys in this video, so if you want to check out my recommendations for picking outreach methods and how to narrow down into the one that actually works for you, go ahead and check out my free masterclass. There's nothing for sale, and people are literally implementing the strategies that I cover in the masterclass and applying it to get results for their social media marketing agency. So check it out down below. But long story short, you want to ask yourself, where are my prospects hanging out on a daily basis? What do they usually spend their time on, right? And where can I actually be most receptive? Where are those platforms where I'm going to be getting their attention and I'm going to be able to get in front of them? For example, if you're reaching out to a brand that is tied to a personal brand, such as, for example, Kylie Jenner is a really bad example, but sending her an Instagram DM is a really bad idea. Whereas if you, for example, get her phone number from from a manager or something like that, and you call her up and you maybe do a cold call, then that might actually work. That might actually really work. Right? So it really depends on the niche and the person you're reaching out to. And it's really important that you keep those two factors in mind. So that's really the second thing. And the final thing is pricing your services. So we're going to be able to price our services anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 a month. For example, just to give you guys an idea, some of the clients that I currently have in my agency are paying me $5,500 a month, or for example, $3,000 a month, right? I'm not saying you can expect those sort of retainers when you start out, but if you put in the work, you apply, you iterate according to feedback, and you actually execute, and you actually follow people that have actually been there, you can definitely get there. Okay, and that is why I titled this video how to turn $14 into $10,000, because it truly is possible. To be more precise, $14.33. You can start with that and then very quickly scale up from that point to that $10,000 mark. So it certainly is doable to start with such small investment and scale to those figures. And those figures, by the way, are profit. Why? Because as I said, it's a service-based business where there's no cost of goods sold. So guys, that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed my breakdown, and hopefully you guys are excited and you guys can clearly see that you don't need much to start your social media marketing agency, and just the insane upside that there is if you actually put in the work, you follow the right advice, and you iterate according to feedback. Honestly, the sky's the limit, and that is why I'm so passionate about this business model for anyone who's starting out in business, or anyone who wants to generate really good cash so they can reinvest into other passion projects or whatever you want to do later down in your journey. So if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Also, leave down below any questions, any comments you may have, and I'll be sure to check those out. The final thing is, if you haven't checked out my free private mentorship community, the Client Closers, it's an incredible community full of like-minded people looking to scale their agency and level up in life. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and check out the link in the description. And as always, guys, hope everything is going well in your agency journey, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.